Hello everyone, welcome to Math with Dotun, where math is made simple, fun, and practical. Alright, today we have an interesting topic, a very useful topic we'll be looking at, and that is simple interest. So we're starting this series, simple interest series, and please do well to like, subscribe, and then click on the bell, the notification bell, so that you can follow up this series. For schools in Nigeria, you start learning about simple interest from year 4, year 5, year 6, and then in some other countries, is in middle school, you start learning about simple interest. And then for adults too, simple interest is very important. In fact, if you have ever saved money in the bank or borrowed money, or you've bought anything on credit, you must have used interest in one way or the other. All right, so this topic is very simple. So when we talk about simple interest, we're talking about the money, the amount of money you paid for using someone else's money. All right, so let's say you have to give me let's say 1,000 naira, and then I'm to use that 1,000 naira for 1 year, and then for using that money 1,000 naira for 1 year, I would have to pay you 100 naira. So at the end of the 1 year, I'll be paying you back 1,100 naira. All right, so the 100 naira that I paid for using that money is the interest. Okay, so if you have taken a loan, the money you're going to pay for using the money is the interest. And so also the person who had invested the money, or the person who had deposited money, will be the one to receive the money, while the borrower would have to pay the money, or the person who had used the money will have to pay, and then the interest is received by the investor. All right, so that's very simple. So interest, simple interest, is the amount of money you pay for using somebody else's money. Okay, all right, so how do we calculate simple interest? Very easy. All right, we have interest equal to the principal times rate times time all over 100. All right, so let's take this in base. So P is the principal. All right, so what's the principal? Principal is the amount of money invested, or the amount of money you have saved in the bank, the amount of money someone has taken as loan or borrowed. That particular amount, like in the example I gave earlier, the 1,000 naira is the principal, because that was the amount I borrowed. All right, so that's the principal. The original amount of money is the principal. Then you have the rate. Rate is given in percentage. In what? Percentage. So like, what percentage of this money that I have borrowed would I have to pay back at the end of the year? Okay, so will I have to pay 5% of the money, all right, or 10% of the money? All right, so what's the rate? All right, the interest rate. So that's the percentage of the original amount that you're going to use, that you're going to pay back after using the money, or that you're going to receive for investing the money. So that's interest. So interest is two-way. It's received by the investor, it's paid by the person who had used it. All right, so that's rate. Then you have the T for time. Okay, T for time. So for how many years are you going to use that? So if I'm paying 10% per year, all right, so if I have to use the money for 5 years, that means I'm going to pay that 10% for 5 good years. So each year I'll pay 10%, next year I'll pay 10%, all right, and that is how simple interest goes. And this time is always in years, because simple interest is calculated per year, all right, per annum. You see this word? All right, so it's calculated per annum, and annum means what? Year. All right, so that means it's done yearly. The calculation is done yearly. So let's say you have to calculate your simple interest, and you have the time given in month. That means you have to convert the months to year. And that's very easy. You're going to see, we're going to walk through different examples in this series. Then you see how to do them, how to calculate your simple interest. And that is it for calculating simple interest. Very simple. In some textbook, you could see this formula as interest equals to principal times rate times time without the 100. Do you know why? Because the 100 belongs to the rate, all right, the percentage. That's how we come about this 100. So we just put this here in the formula to make it easy for you, all right. But if you're not using the one with 100, you want to go with a formula without the 100, that means when you're writing your rates, you write it in fraction, converting the percentage to fraction. So if it is 5%, you now write it as 5 over 100. All right. But in this case, you don't need to write your rate in percentage. The 100 is already here. So if the rate is 5%, you just put your 5. Don't worry, like I said, just try, make sure you follow this series. We're going to take examples on them. Just check the playlist, simple interest playlist. You see different examples on how to solve questions in simple interest. One more thing I would like to mention. You remember I said I borrowed 1,000 naira and then I paid 100 naira as the interest. And at the end of the year, I'm returning the money to the owner. I'm returning 1,100 naira. 1,000, which is the money, original money, 100 naira, the interest. So 1,100 naira. What do we call that? We call it the amount. We call it the what? Amount. And that is principal plus interest. So the original money, principal, which is the 1,000 naira I borrowed, the interest, which is 100 naira, together making 1,100 naira. That gives the total amount of the money I'm going to return at the end of the year. Okay, so these formulas, you should take note of them when we talk about simple interest. So what's the formula again? Interest equals to principal times rate times time over 100. Principal is in currency, dollars, naira, pounds. All right, so this formula works anywhere. So if you're using South African rands, fantastic. The same formula goes with it. Your principal will be in rands, all right, your interest will be in rands. If you're using Ghana cedis, right, your principal is in cedis and your interest is in cedis. So as simple as that. So it works for all the currencies of the world. All right, I believe that is clear. Thank you. So now let's go to the next video where we're going to have examples. Do where to follow. Thank you. Bye.